All Quiet on the Western Front is made 2022 and directed by Edward Berger, based on the book with the same name written by Erich Maria Remarque, which was made right after World War I. And damn, I really liked this one. Already by seeing the trailer, I had pretty high hopes and I was not disappointed. I expected it to be very similar to the movie made in 1930, but it's actually very different in most of the story. I have not read the book, so I can't say which one is more accurate, but so far as I know, the 1930 version is more accurate to the book. But I'm happy they decided not to just copy the original film, as it gives this film more of its own identity instead of just another remake. Story-wise, without going too much into detail, as I don't want to spoil it, it takes place during World War I. The war has been raging for 3 years, and we follow a group of students and how they enter the war. Riled up by their teachers and nationalism, they enter the war with a romantic idea and are instantly proven wrong. A new storyline not in the original film is about the bigger picture of the war. We get to see the negotiations for peace during the final days of the war, and follow the German politicians and generals trying to end the war, but at the same time we also get to follow the generals trying to prolong the war. This movie, especially at this time and current world events, really hits home as it really shows us that in many ways we still have not changed, that the senseless wars and loss of lives are still common to this day. It's definitely a lot more brutal than the film from 1930 in some ways, and takes place during the end of the war, while the original film takes place during the first years of the war. We get to see new technologies like tanks and flamethrowers and gas warfare, and also really one of the only films I've seen with close quarters fighting with bolt action rifles. Visually and cinematography is really great with some really nice looking nature shots, and just the overall film has a really good look to it. The score is a lot more modern sounding than I expected, and it did take me by surprise at first, but as more as I kept watching the movie, the more it grew on me, so I really enjoyed the score in the end, and it really fits well. Criticism wise, I have really little to say, only minor things that even I would call nitpicks, and also just some things that are more me comparing this movie to the original film. And most of them are from a filmmaking standpoint, not really any criticism about the movie's acting or story. Really small things like some effects could have been done better, or over-reliance on digital effects for bullet hits. Like what happened to the use of pyrotechnics and squibs? But again, this is more of a critique of modern filmmaking and not the movie itself. Other than that, I really recommend watching this. I mean, first of all, I do recommend you watching the original film, but if it's too old for you or something like that, then of course, give this movie a watch instead. But don't expect a fun or relaxing movie. I mean, it's very dark and it takes place during one of the worst wars in human history. It is on Netflix, so it's very accessible, so most of you guys will be able to watch it. So otherwise, thanks for watching.